Hello and welcome to my channel. If you'd like to come to my live Sunday night meetings or have a private session with me, you can subscribe via my website. I wrote an article about enlightenment, very short. It was just a quick thing that I wrote. So I'm just trying to get comfortable here. And I don't remember what I wrote, but enlightenment, when you look at to be lightened, to be unburdened, and surely enlightenment would be to be unburdened of the need for anything, just the natural need of things like warmth, shelter, joy, enjoyment of life, all those things, even some drama, we all love a nice Lord of the Rings or something. But that's not that permanent need to become. It's lightened of the need to become, or in non-duality to unbecome. But unbecoming is the same as becoming. It's still a similar goal, just reversed words. It really is no different. So to be lightened, to be unburdened of the need to become or unbecome, because you can't be either. This isn't going anywhere. There's nowhere to go with it. It's just the projection of the mind into a non-existent future that I will unbecome or I will become. And when you look at life sitting here, just as life is, wherever you are, have you become anything? You could say, well, I've become maybe more peaceful. But is that becoming, or is that just life being more peaceful? I've become a brain surgeon. Is that becoming, or is that just, you're a brain surgeon? It's not really becoming, isn't it? Is it? Because this idea of to become usually involves. Sorry, I just can't get comfortable. Let me just shift about a bit. There we go. The idea of becoming is the idea of enlightenment. But it's all kind of fantastical. And it's all actually very self-centered. And to be lightened of the burden of becoming is the end of self-consideration. Self-consideration just doesn't happen anymore. It's just the immediacy of situations presented in whatever moment that are met or not met. There's not even a need to make a decision. It just is just the response to life as it is. And I would say that that is very enlightening, but not as what did I say in that thing with a halo in front of an audience. It's not that. It's just here. It's very it's only to do with you. It's only to do with you. Your life is only to do with you. It's not to do with anybody else. No one else will ever know your world. No one will ever know my world. They may think they do. They may think they know who you are and what you think and what you feel and what you are, but they don't. They can't. It's impossible. For some reason, we compare ourselves to other people who call themselves enlightened. And the thing is, we'll never know what it is to be them. All we can do is just hear words and things that sound like a good idea at the time. But it's fine to listen to other people. I listen to other people all the time, not non-duality or spirituality. I listen to all kinds of things, and I get very inspired. Sorry, I'm a real fidget tonight. I get very inspired by people's, friends as well. Their experiences and the wisdom they share on all sorts of things. But I don't put them on a pedestal of they have something I don't. I think in the spiritual life, we tend to do that. We tend to put people on pedestals, but they're just other life forms. They're not special life forms. The only life there is the life sitting in that chair or on that bed or whatever. That's the only life there is. And the body is a life form, and everything else is a life form. But the only life form is the one with the light on, the one hearing these words, the one sitting on the chair. And that's not a no me, that's not a me, that's not a self, that's not a no self. That's the direct experience of life. It's direct. It just is. It is. And no one can tell you that that's right or wrong. But what we do is we accept the judgment of others as if they're a judge of that life. And no one can be a judge of that life, because all there is for you and all there is for me is this life. Everything else is just a form. Even the words are forms. The thoughts are forms. You have a light on and I have a light on. Absolutely. And I'll never know what it is to be you. I'll never know. So I can never say anything about you. The best that we can do is to, what I can do as a speaker in this situation, if there's any sort of confusion, we can just look at it. I don't have an answer. I have no answer for anything. But I have the experience, I guess you could say, of seeing through the bullshit, my own bullshit, of which was of enormous proportions. And that was all learnt, and that came from fear and pain and insecurity. And this whole story was evolved around this story that was taught as a child and got built upon and built upon and built upon. And then there was pain and suffering, and it was all personal, and then there became all the behavior and all the dread and uncertainty and lack of confidence. And this was all built on zero foundation. It's like built on sand, and one wave can just knock the whole thing down. And that's not some kind of what do you want to call it? Sorry, I just need to turn that off. The house of cards crashing down, or even the top two blowing off, is not something special. It just is seeing through the house of cards, which is built on very dodgy sand. It's not built on a foundation of certainty. It's always very uncertain. Have you noticed that feelings and emotions are all and stories are all very uncertain. They don't have any ground that they really sit on. That's why we tend to defend our stories, because they have no real ground. And you never have to defend just life itself. It doesn't need defending. If you're defending life itself, if you're defending the message of non-duality, for instance, that means there's a story built on very dodgy ground, loose sand, and it has to be defended. So you get these people in non-duality who say things like, who's saying that? And who would choose? Because it's sticking to a story of who and me and no me. But just life itself, being here without a freaking clue of what's going on, which isn't a problem, which is actually very restful in its own way, doesn't need defending. It can never be, life itself can never be taunted or threatened, because it's innate to everybody. It is everybody. It is you. It is me. It is this. We can, people can shout and well and defend and say this is right message, that's the right message, all they like. But it doesn't change the fact that there's just life here.